Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the back alley behind Paramount Studios, it's KoR Live! Hey everybody, how's it going? It's me, your boy, Kizaru Iwakura, here for the first time in a while with a gaming news episode. As we record, this is going to be our first episode after the brand split. This is going to be our first episode that goes up on the KoR Live gaming channel. In case you didn't hear it during the most recent Bigfoot Geography episode that we put out last Friday, basically we are splitting the channel. We're keeping our paranormal stuff on the original channel. We made a new stuff for the gaming stuff, and we're going to be trying to build an audience from there. So if you like us, come over here and visit. I think what we're going to do is going to be the last one we upload on the maybe, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But anyways, if we're here with me, first and foremost, I got my best friend in the entire world, Devin Yulmain.
I have a soda. Not
yeah,
soda the person, a soda the drink.
Yeah, soda pop, not soda, yeah. What kind of soda pop you drinking?
Coke Zero.
Coke Zero, alright. Here as well, we have the armchair general himself, Caden Arellin.
I also have a soda.
Let's go.
Oh!
But I got a Sprite Zero.
Oh, let's go. I got those downstairs too.
Still has zero in the name.
Alright, and then last, but certainly not least, it's the man who's always blazing it. My man, Jasper Lane Wynn.
And I tell you what, I definitely deserve a smoke break after pushing this damn houseboat all the way over here. You could have told me we didn't have any water. Okay. Dadgummit. This back alley was a bitch to get this thing into. You know that?
Listen, I'm the one that rented the truck, alright? So, why are we here behind Paramount Studios? Well, because something that we all hate here at KoR Live is finally dead. Hopefully. They canceled the Halo TV show.
Woo!
Thank fuck. Woohoo!
Rip Master Cheeks.
Always say, rest in piss, you won't be missed. Rip Bozo, Pack Watch, all that good stuff. Me and Devin have extended thoughts about the show and the franchise as a whole, but we're going to save that for a monotopic episode that we're going to be doing as we begin to expand our new KoR Live gaming channel and stuff like that. There's tons of stuff for you guys to look forward to. I have heard that the showrunners are shopping it around to other networks to see if anybody wants to foot the bill for a third season.
Yeah. Right.
Basically, they had a contract where they signed on for 2 seasons, and all the hate watches on the first season got more funding for the second season. And apparently, from what I've heard, the Halo ring only appears at the very end of the last episode of the second season. So, wow, way to go, you guys. You really did it. Yeah, fuck you, Silver Timeline. Devin and I are gonna miss you.
I thought
Is that
it
what
was
they're calling
there.
it?
Yeah.
That was the name of the canon for the TV show, yes.
It's called the Silver Timeline because rather than Master Chief leading Blue Team, he leads a completely different team called Silver Team. So they called it the Silver Timeline.
And the whole reason they did that is because these writers thought they were better than the franchise and wanted to do their own thing. And
it's a really convenient way to not have to do your homework and actually
exactly. And look where that got them. And here's the thing. The Fallout TV show came out, and it was amazing, and everyone loved it, including us. I mean, for Pete's sake, even Locke, who famously very, very hard to convince to like something, is said it's okay. And when Locke says something is okay, that's him putting his seal of approval on it. So
that man grew up on Fallout 1 and 2.
If he says it's okay, then it's probably one of the best things you'll ever see.
Yeah, he's a very tough critic. And not to mention, they also have the Last of Us TV show, which is also very popular as well. And basically, these are 2 TV shows that stayed true to the feeling and the lore of the games they were based on. Now, admittedly, The Last of Us was really just Neil Druckmann finally achieving his dream of breaking into Hollywood and continuing his, very long circle jerk. But we've already made fun of him for that. And when these better shows came out, it showed that, one, well, nobody had to settle for this garbage. And, two, it shows that audiences prefer it when you actually make something original, that is loyal to the franchise. And Fallout, remember, Fallout made oodles of money because it got a bunch of people into the franchise. Remember when the sales for Fallout 4 skyrocketed after the series dropped?
The entire franchise hit records. Like,
Yeah.
every individual game, I think, outside of Fallout Brotherhood and, Tactics. I think.
Tactics. Yeah, because those are ones they like to keep under the rug. They don't like to.
I'll fight for Tactics all day long.
Tactics, yeah, but no, I don't think anybody cares
Brotherhood
for
sucks.
Brotherhood, if I remember right.
Brotherhood sucks.
And imagine what this would have done for Halo if they had actually just told a story in the Halo universe.
They
Because,
actually had the Halo in the fucking show.
Right, because let me tell you right now, Halo could really use a shot in the arm. It's not doing great right now.
No, I think they need to go back to books, for fuck's sake. Like, that's when, like, honestly, hear me out. Some of the books I've read beat the shit out of a lot of other IPs in the same genre. Like, I've seen some Halo books that kick the shit out of some Star Wars content. Like, the Warhammer 40k stuff goes pretty hard, too, not gonna lie. But Halo stuff goes hard. And, like, I do think they could use, like, especially in today's day and age, where you would think that books are not really a medium people get into anymore. Exact opposite. Like, we're in the middle of, like, a big book club heyday kind of thing. People read all the damn time. Like, and I think that would be a good medium, because they kind of need a little more space, I think, to tell a little grander story or something, because we're kind of...
Well, the TV show was... The format of a TV show was perfect for the kind of story that Halo wants to tell. The problem is that they had a team of writers who did not care for the material they were handed.
It happens all too often.
They admitted and were proud of the fact that they didn't look at any of the books or video games.
Or the games. Yeah.
They went in purely with just what they knew.
These are people who regarded putting in basic things like ships and guns from, the lore as Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So...
Here's my
that tells you the kind of TLC that was being put into it, which is to say, not at all. You would have more passion fucking a sex doll.
Wait. Are you telling me the Halo TV series wasn't lore accurate?
That's correct,
That is
kid.
correct. It is not anywhere in the I'm not even going to say the main time. I'm going to just say the freaking canon for the thing.
But here's the good thing about them saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna do my own thing," because it's in its own pocket universe. We can completely ignore it.
Exactly.
So, silver lining, but tish.
All I'm saying is that I brought it up in the little conversation we had beforehand, but like I just found it so hilarious that they figuratively and literally showed their ass the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, the first rule of Halos, we don't know what Master Chief looks like under the helmet. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, wasn't that done specifically just so that way it's like people could more easily, imagine themselves as Master Chief?
Yes. It was deliberately done that way.
And that's also why, like, I would say he got a pretty basic name, John. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, there's a lot going into that, but also his names are, like, there's a lot of references to the Bible in his name, too. But the other big thing with that is, like, I just can't believe there were so many memes about Master Chief's ass. Like, that is the wildest thing about this whole TV show, to my opinion. Like,
I mean, he got the name Master Cheeks because of it.
Like,
Yeah.
I guess the only bright side is, I guess now that it's not canon, that Master Chief's ass is just that much better, ? Not sure. No, I don't know how that works, but I guess everybody can dream. You know what I mean?
See,
My other thing is they really dropped the ball on not having Sergeant Johnson up in there. Having like freaking, I would love to see Samuel L. Jackson as Lionel Johnson, or not Lionel Johnson, but Sergeant Johnson.
If it was
I
Lionel
wouldn't
Johnson,
want.
they have other problems.
Yeah,
I
know,
wouldn't
right?
want that set of writers to deal with Johnson. I would want them to stay away from my beloved Johnson.
No,
I feel like
Sorry.
if they even got their hand, I feel like he would be the most milquetoast version of Johnson in the world.
like that dude would be breaking every OSHA guideline the whole time. Like I would love it. Like I feel like
No, it just part of the appeal of Sergeant Johnson is just he's him, right? It's just like he is the definition of badass normal. Which is to say, somebody who is on par with the badass superpower people, but is just totally a guy.
no, he
because
has main character syndrome.
He has main character status despite being a side character, yeah. And the writers would look at him and say, "Oh, well, he's just a generic CO, isn't he?" And then they would write him like any other CO character in any other military show ever.
Despite him having like probably the best collection of like going into combat one-liners or mini speeches of any military
One of the
leader in
most
fiction.
quotable characters in all video games. Yeah, exactly.
I would say fiction. I wouldn't even say video games, bro. Like the amount of times I thought to myself, like, what would be something I like? What would a badass character write in this situation? Like, doing RP writing for like the guild, and Sergeant Johnson be coming up in the back of my head. I'm like, no, that would be too obvious. Devin would notice.
Yeah.
No,
But it's
can't
like,
do
I
that.
know what the ladies like.
Exactly. Like, drop the ball. Like, I kind of feel like the Borderlands TV show is going to do that too, because the mismatch type casting of that whole thing. But that's a whole other conversation. I can't wait to get into that. Devin's gonna love that episode.
We'll talk in depth about it at a later date. So, all right. So that's our. So there we go. We're all pissing on the grave of the show and also pissing in the back alley here.
Rest in piss, Halo TV show.
You will
If
not
you want,
be missed.
Hey, but for real, just a quick, end of conversation kind of thing. If you guys want to experience some really good live action Halo, go watch Halo Forward Unto Dawn.
Fucking man. They did this 10 years ago, and it's still better.
Is that the GIFs I've been seeing on Twitter? Is that where they got that? Is it?
I don't know what gifs you've been seeing on Twitter, so I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
I don't know. They're on like just log into the KoR Twitter, okay? And that's my Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So
All right, so with that news appetizer out of the way, on to the meat and potatoes. Really big news for game developers this week. Bethesda is officially the first Microsoft game studio to fully unionize. They have unionized or the Communication Workers of America, forming a quote wall-to-wall union of developers, including artists, engineers, programmers, and designers, and Microsoft has signed off on it and recognized.
I think the
Which is a
craziest
good thing.
part is Microsoft
Yes.
being like, go for it.
I mean, they got the money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
I'm gonna have some hot takes on this one because I worked in a union for like half a decade. Okay, mind it was UFCW, so like not exactly a great union, which is the United Workers Corporate Food Workers Union or some bullshit like that. I'm not entirely sure. Basically, the food worker union. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. You thought 8 years was a long time for a Bethesda game? Oh, just wait. Guys, we ain't getting Fallout 6. You know what I mean? We gonna be dead. Deader than shit, okay? Like, I have a feeling that, like, while yes, the worker conditions will no doubt be better because, let's be honest, crunch culture sucks, and I really hope that unionizing helps put measures in place to forestall crunch culture. That bureaucratic machine is going to run so slow. Oh my god. And now they got to vote on stuff.
Counter argument. This means that we aren't having people killing themselves out of dying from stress and overwork.
No, yeah, I 100% am behind what we're saying here. But there's going to be some realistic drawbacks to the situation, too.
Boo fucking who, the Bethesda game is going to take longer to come out. Guess what? I'm used to waiting for Bethesda games. This means nothing to me.
But yeah, now we got to look at
Bethesda makes games?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Listen, figuratively here, I am looking up from my modded copy of Skyrim on PC. Like, huh? Oh, I gotta wait. Okay, time to start my 20,000th playthrough of Skyrim. You're never gonna believe this, guys. You're never gonna believe this, guys. I'm not siding it with anyone on the Civil War during this playthrough. Shocker, I know.
No, I know. Like, the wildest thing about Bethesda is that their community has gotten to the point where they're just making brand new games in the games that they made because they're waiting around.
Yeah, Fallout London dropped recently. Yeah.
Like, it's insane, the situation, when you're looking at it. Like, oh my god, you could just make a game, like, in half the time. But, like, Lord knows y'all, like, I just have this feeling that when you walk into the Bethesda studio, you're not seeing a whole bunch of people working. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't make any sense to me. Like, when you got FromSoft over here cranking out a freaking Dark Souls game that's winning Game of the Year, what, every 3 years? You know, like...
Oh, my bad. Fallout London has not been released yet. It got pushed back because of the next-gen update that Bethesda pushed out after the TV show dropped.
Oh yeah, the one that broke everything.
The one that broke everything.
Yeah. Yeah, the one that completely ruined my playthrough, and I was like, I guess I'm just gonna uninstall, to be honest.
Like, I'm just saying, don't expect things on that level to go the direction that everybody thinks it's going to go. Because I've worked in a union. Like,
I'm a jester. I'm gonna be real here. These are two completely different industries, so I can't. I'm sure you have experience with the union, but also, I feel like we are talking about apples and oranges here.
I hope we are. In all honesty, I really do. Like, because like, I think what I'm trying to say is not that, you know, we're not getting people that don't care or their contract allows them to become lax or anything like that, but there's a whole new set of bureaucratic circumstances at play in every single situation that comes up, every single workplace conflict, all that other kind of thing. Not that it's a bad thing, but all of these things take extra time. Now, like, you think it got bad waiting 6 years for, what, an Elder Scrolls game? Just wait until every single time a manager makes a comment that somebody doesn't like, they file a grievance, and then they have to go through a couple of days worth of grievances and every other thing, and then, like, you see what I mean? It's not that I feel like it's a bad situation for the workers, but I'm saying that realistically, there's going to be a lot more time involved.
Oh, and again, I don't fucking care, it's Bethesda.
Oh no, I would like to see a couple more games before I get in the retirement home.
Here's Jess. I feel like you're being. Me personally, anything that means these people aren't being worked to the bone and exploited the moment the CEO decides they want to raise is good, in my opinion. Okay.
No, I think you're misinterpreting me.
Maybe I am,
like,
but you're just coming off as very pessimistic to me. And when this is like a unambiguously good thing in an industry that's very famous in the last several years for being exploitative and exhaustive.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at what does this functionally add to what their workday ends up being. You know what I mean?
Shortening it so they actually have time to go home to their families?
Not a bad thing.
Not getting laid off when the CEO decides they want to raise?
Not a bad thing. Where have I argued with that? Any of the things like that? Like, all I'm saying is that don't expect their games to come out even at the rate they're coming out now.
Again,
yeah,
it's Bethesda.
No one is
saying
this is going to make it faster.
Who cares, Jaster?
Like,
you're saying this is a bad thing.
Because they're
everybody
already
is used
behind
to
the
waiting
curve
forever
on,
for
like,
new
companies
Bethesda
that
games.
don't have this kind of issue. Like, they just don't work. in the first place. That's kind of where I'm at, because they got AAA studios all around them that don't have these workplace issues that they have, that are cranking out games in a third of the time that they are, that are winning awards. Like, I think it's a good thing for the Bethesda workers, because I think their management culture is crap as all hell. I think that's where the real problem is. Like, my problem's always been with Todd Howard and upper management. And, like, in that case, the union getting installed and more protections for the workers is a great thing. It gives them a shield against what I think is truly the problem of Bethesda, and that's upper management. Now, that doesn't really mean that I don't think... I would be kind of surprised if they were able to get Todd Howard out. Like, most of the time when it comes to these, like, union contracts, like, management becomes its own entity, and then the union kind of becomes its own entity. So, like, they'll have better, like, opportunities for seniority and being able to advance when you put enough time in with the company, which is always a good thing. The downside is like, you now have next to no power over what's going on in the management field, and then you got that, you know, that whole classism issue sometimes you get between management and the workers in a job and normal.
Jasser,
becomes a
I
very
genuinely
real thing.
Listen, man, I don't know. Fuck, how do I say this without being an asshole? I don't have any experience with unions, and I'm looking at the positives of this, and as somebody who has not worked within the system, I'm not familiar with the problems that may arise from it. And because I'm not familiar with those problems, what you're saying sounds like a criticism to me, even though that's not necessarily even though I fully understand you're not saying this is a bad thing, this is bad, but that's what it sounds like to me because I don't have this experience. And ultimately, I feel like it's kind of whatever you're talking about is kind of a non-issue in the first place here, because again, your experience comes from a completely different work culture.
Yeah.
They might not even have the same union structure that yours did.
I would hope not. Like,
I just feel like you're making a lot of assumptions here, dude.
And hopefully we can learn more about what's going on here. Like,
how about we just celebrate the fact that there's a union and not sit here going, well, this is a bad thing for these people because I am making these wide-sweeping, assumptions and all. I'm just saying, man.
I don't think I've done any of that. But whatever. My thing is...
Anyways, hooray! Unions! Moving on.
Sorry, Duke is yelling in the background.
So, we're coming
going to
back...
talk about the government next?
We're coming back to one of our long-running news stories that we've been following for a year? 2 years?
Yeah, close to it.
And the latest chapter in the ongoing saga of Microsoft trying to obtain ActiBliz. The FTC has come down on them because they are not. Let's see here. It made price hikes on Game Pass that broke promises that were made on the agreement for the ActiBliz merger.
Now, that has to do with Game Pass, right?
Yes, because which is really the source of all Microsoft woes. We were criticizing them for this recently when they shut down all these small studios because they lost like a small percent of these ridiculously high profits that they've been making. So about last week, they announced that PC Game Pass got a $2 price hike, going from $10 to $12 a month. Game Pass for console was replaced by Game Pass Standard for new subs only, which no longer had day one game releases, but has online multiplayer and costs an extra $4, bringing the price up to $15 a month. People currently subbed to Xbox Game Pass for console get to keep it, and it's day one games for its current cheaper price till they cancel, at which point they are forced into the new system. Game Pass Ultimate's offerings were unchanged, so subs still get day one games, but it got a $3 price hike from $17 to $20 a month. Basically, everything is getting more expensive, and some tiers are losing features in the process. And the FTC is not happy about this. In a filing, they noted that a current Game Pass for console users wanting to keep their day one games must pay 81% more to switch to Game Pass Ultimate. And for anyone not willing to do that, Microsoft is introducing a degraded product, which costs 36% more than console Game Pass and withholds day one releases. Now, if you remember, the deal on the merger closed last October, which feels like forever ago, but that's fairly recent in court case time. It's unlikely the merger is getting rolled back, but the FTC is not laying down yet. This is definitely, they called it the hallmarks of a firm exercising market power post-merger. It also noted that Microsoft forgot to mention this while it was talking about the acquisition, giving Game Pass subs day one access to new Call of Duties. Microsoft promised that the acquisition would benefit consumers by making Call of Duty available on Microsoft's Game Pass on the days released on console with no price increase on the service based on the acquisition. Now, Microsoft has followed up on this by submitting a letter to the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court in response to the criticism, pointing to the Game Pass standard's new inclusion of multiplayer as making up for the loss of day one first-party game access, which I, quite frankly, is a load of booty.
Yeah, highly the whole one of the best selling points was being able to essentially try games day one for a much cheaper cost and being able to do it at a lot of other games. Losing that day one is horse shit.
Yeah.
Now, the thing with this is that I'm trying to figure this out really quick, is that the FTC has a lot more power than I think the general public really knows that they have. So, the FTC is one of the few branches of the U.S. government that does have the power to investigate, form law enforcement, and act as a rulemaking authority. Now, that leaves out pretty much everything besides actually taking somebody to court and ruling on it. So, they have pretty much a similar rulemaking and regulatory investigative power that the ATF used to have probably up until about a month ago. Now, what that means is that not only do these guys have the power to investigate their asses on a federal level, bring in federal grade law enforcement into the situation, but they can also regulate and take out antitrust issues. Mm-hmm. They can shut down businesses altogether in the long and short of things.
Yep.
And I can't get it for sure, but I'm pretty damn sure they can levy fines and all that other kind of stuff just the same. So, this is not a wolf without teeth, is what I think's the big point here. Is I think a lot of people saw what went on in the EU, and they probably don't have a whole lot of faith in the American FTC, which, seeing how they kind of laid down after trying to rear themselves for a fight, I'm not entirely inclined to disagree with somebody. You know what I mean? So, this does have actual implications. If they want to say, hey, you're set to these prices, they got to go through with it. They can set market value if they really need to. They can break up freaking companies into whatever they really need to. Now, the overall precedents for some of these things have changed over the years, but this is also the biggest company on the planet, by way of wealth, and I don't think much is going to get out of their crosshairs with these people. You know what I mean? They do own a veritable market share of technology in general. So, that probably already gets them more than a few calls. You know what I mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, I do think with this, though, is that I don't think Call of Duty is going to really sag too much as far as players and all that kind of stuff, mostly because,
Its player base is basically built into it at this point.
Well, the and weirdly enough, the Modern Warfare 3 did work to fix a lot of the things people were wrong and mad with Modern Warfare 2. So like COD goes through this thing where like they've got 3 different developers working on their games, right? So like I think they did this on purpose. They found like the one that is really good at making the community happy, and they place them right behind the one that just does not give a goddamn hell about what's going on. They just make their game the way they want and fuck it. So like by the time, and then like the other guy's kind of in the middle. So like the community goes through these 2 games where they're really mad, and then they get a game where it's kind of fixing their shit, and they're like, God damn, finally. And then it goes right back to it. You know what I mean? And business model works perfectly fine, you know? Like,
here's my thing. You know what I'm reminded of when all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, you gotta pay for multiplayer. This is fucking 2006 with Xbox Live Gold. Come on, man. We're at the point where online multiplayer is not gated anymore, right? Like, so long. Am I wrong?
Well, I think in the sense, I think you're speaking from a PC point of view. I think like every console has to pay a subscription to access online. Like, I mean, mine Switch is the cheapest. It's like $5, but like it's also, by God, the worst one. You can't even party up on it.
I never paid subs, and we were able to do online Smash just fine. The problems we had was because the netcode is booty cheeks.
I think it's a game-to-game basis, because I know a lot of Pokemon games you do have to pay for the online to do stuff. Like,
no.
Whenever me and Maria do Stardew Valley and do an online connection, they do check for the online subscription. Now, it's not like the one that gives you all the extra games. It's the base online multiplayer package that's like $5 that it checks for. Because, like, you know, they got tiers over there where it's like you get different emulators and all that kind of stuff with new releases every month. But, like I said, whenever we're doing, like, Stardew Valley or something, it will check and see if I, like, have Nintendo Online. Now, like, I think that's game to game. Like, I'm not sure about that. It could be an old thing, too. Like, but, like, I know at least now Nintendo does do a subscription for most of their products, at least. Now, like, I know PSN is a thing. Like you have to pay for Xbox Live on your, so, like, the console for Xbox also has a subscription to access online services for multiplayer and shit. I know, like, PC doesn't really. Like, unless you got, like, some extra add-on developer-based bullshit subscription like Activision Online or whatever, or Plus, or, you know what I mean, Delta Sky Miles, whatever the hell, which is like the new thing. But like, I think that's the biggest talking point about PC, honestly, is that like you save a lot of money if you just went pure PC because you're not paying a subscription. You know what I mean? And that helps. And then, like, you're already paying for internet anyway, both ways. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. I know, like, with consoles, in my experience, I generally have had to pay for an online service. Now, like, I think the big thing that they're talking about, though, is the fact that, like, the products themselves are very scammy. Like,
yeah.
It's not very, very discreet at all what they're doing. No. So, like, I think that's the big kicker, you know what I mean?
What's very strange about this is, this runs counter to their goal, which was, Microsoft had a stated goal of getting, I think it was like 300 million Game Pass subs by 2030. And them deciding to pump and dump, has vastly gotten in the way of that, because I believe a lot of people are dropping their subs in protest of this. And not to mention, they're still losing money on Game Pass. They've been losing money on Game Pass, and it's just been a raw deal for them.
what's weird is that what's been seeming to work for Game Pass the most is games that were exclusive on other platforms getting put on their platform.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like, could you just imagine the Game Pass subs if they got Spider-Man?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I think it's so weird because it's like the strategy you would think would work, they just don't go for it.
Yeah.
But Sony's the same way. Like, they're very exclusionary when it comes to the games on their platform. You know, they just now got, Sea of Thieves, and it went gangbusters. You know, like,
Yeah.
the 4 games that went kind of over to PSN started breaking records for downloads almost right off the bat, which, like, I don't know, that should be saying something to these companies, you know what I mean? Like, if you're just looking at raw data and you're after the numbers, like, that should be telling you something is working, you know, that we need to pursue this. But I don't know, maybe there's definitely stuff in there that I don't understand, but, like, I don't know. I kind of just want to see the FTC smack them up a little bit, you know. I feel like that would make me a little happy.
No, I agree. The FTC really definitely needs to come down on these motherfuckers for sure. Just on a lot of companies in general. I don't know. There's a lot of media monopolies going on nowadays that
I mean, did you hear? Oh, we got a little time, so I got like a little one-off here. The FTC is actually starting to investigate Apple market shares, and it's like starting to come around, and it's pretty obvious to anybody with some eyes that, like, do you know that like over 90% of teenagers have a iPhone?
yeah.
Sounds about right.
So, like, that's an alarming demographic for people like the FTC. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like, that is actually a large reason why the iPhone people got emulators, actually. Because the FTC ruled that, you know, all of this crap, you guys have such a market share in certain age demographics, and you guys are actively working against other companies that actively share this stuff with everybody else, you gotta let it in. And that's why people can emulate on iPhone. It was actually because the FTC made a ruling on that. Which, that's a big thing for gamers. You know, like, emulation's becoming a bigger thing every year. You know what I mean?
I just don't like Apple as a company, to be honest.
I don't think any of us do.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think we're all Samsung over here.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't even had a Windows phone. Those look janky as fuck to me.
I think they were rip-offs of Apple, and Steve Jobs wanted to bury them before he died, but cancer got him first.
From friends who have had them, from what they told me, it wasn't great because I remember when they launched, they all had Windows 8, which, as we know, not a great operating system.
No, because they tried to design it for 2 completely different things. One for mobile and then one for desktop, and that's just no.
Yeah.
Do that.
I had a Windows phone, and it was terrible. I remember, like, you know, every day I look at my phone, I'm like, this sucks.
No, I was one of them poors in high school. I had like a iPhone maybe twice in my life. Like, I've had the little green buddy most of my life, and I don't mind it. I tell you what, never really have. Phones are cheaper, do more stuff on them.
My brothers and I all had iPhones for a while, but my little brother decided he was going to go back to flip phone. Yeah.
That's a Chad move.
Yeah. He's like, I just don't need all this extra stuff anymore, so why pay for it? And I was like, yeah, pretty, you know, to each their own. I like my mobile games, so I go with Samsung.
Very much same. So, like, I don't know. I think it's probably. Anybody got anything else to add on that?
No.
I think
Alright.
I'll start bitching when my billing goes up for it.
There you go.
Because I do pay for Game Pass, but I've got the old Game Pass. I don't really pay a lot for it.
Damn, you got grandfathered in, is what you're telling me?
I think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure my thing's still only like $5 a month.
Dude, you better... Goddamn, and they know your handle now. Shit, you're going to get upcharged real quick, or they're going to start emailing you about this new stuff. They're going to really start calling you and shit. So my internet company does, because they realize I've got way too good a deal. Like,
Yeah.
they've tried calling me, like, how would you like to sign up for Spectrum? I'm go, that's interesting, because I'm already a customer. Click. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know? So, like, be wary on that shit. They'll get creative on your ass.
Oh, Comcast screwed me over on that shit.
Damn.
Back in the day, they just decided to cancel my subscription and all that stuff, so I had to repurchase it. I was like,
That's
Yeah.
strong arming, bro. What the fuck?
yeah.
They hit you like that?
It's like they called me up with their little sales pitch and all that stuff, and it's like, I'll think about it or so, and they took that as the go ahead to just like cancel everything.
Right.
And it's like, also my TV stops working also because it was all in one package, and it's like, what's going on? And I call them up, give them the number. It's like, that box is reported as being stolen.
What the fuck?
I was like, do what now?
You're joking.
And it's like, yeah, they removed that from your account like months ago, and since it hasn't been back in, it's reported as being a stolen box. It's like, motherfucker.
I'm just sitting there like, huh?
That's a creative way of ending my service. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Talk about plausible deniability. God damn.
yeah.
So, on another reason as to why people need to have public service internet, oh no, I feel like it should be a public utility now.
Oh, now I don't even have a fucking choice. I mean, so yeah, pro tip for everyone listening out there: don't get an HOA
Or White Sky.
or White Sky. Yeah,
Yeah, both are equally good advice. Okay, so I thought I was going to add it, not correct it. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's bad. I can no longer decide who I get my internet and TV provided from because of the daggum HOA.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Buy a farm. 101. Ain't got no HOA. I'm the HOA.
All right. Well, we still got one last big thing to dig in here.
Yeah. This one, I saw this one while me and Devin were down at the card shop today.
It's a really interesting one.
It's very interesting. So, the International Olympic Committee has unanimously voted yes for the creation of the Olympic Esports Games.
What?
You heard me.
I mean, I did, but I'm still confused. Like, does that mean Blizzard's never going to die because now it's an Olympic sport? Are we
Christ.
getting Overwatch now? Is this going to be League of Legends? Like, what are we getting?
I bet you more than anything, there's some ancient Greek guy looking down from wherever he is, and at this point, like, what the fuck, guys?
No shit.
No, Dionysus is losing his shit. He thinks it's the best thing ever.
No. Apparently, like, somebody got arrested for grinding on the statue of Bacchus the other day, which I think
That's
hilarious.
Dionysian worship right there, baby.
Like, just to be just for anybody who doesn't know, that's the god of debauchery and wine
And revelry.
Yeah, basically exactly what happened was what he would be down for. You know what I'm saying?
Like, here's the thing. Like, being high and going for a Taco Bell run at like 1 a.m. is like the Dionysian ritual. Okay, like.
Yeah. Been there.
So.
However, Like, I don't even know. Like, this is just so nuts to me. Like, this poses so many questions. Who are going to be the key players? You know what I mean? Like, are there going to be sub games? Are like sub genres? Are we going to do like fighting games? Are we going to do like shooters, hero shooters?
Are we gonna do MOBAs? What's the
like what's going on? Speed running? You know, like there's
Yeah.
so much here.
I can see MOBAs being a like their main thing.
Dude, I mean, I could see that too. League of Legends is hella popular all over the world.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate considering its community.
You ain't lying. Like, yeah.
I remember when me and Devin's like local convention we go to every year was like, hey guys, we have an official League of Tournaments Legends tournament this year. I was like, yeah, why?
I mean, I enjoyed the game. It's just the community just drives me away because they're so damn toxic.
Dude, I can't wait for fucking Pakistan to show up for the Tekken one and just start whooping ass and taking gold, bro.
Right. Oh my god.
I can't wait.
Team Pakistan, let's go, baby.
Dude, I've been on there. You guys probably already know if you've been watching the show. I am all about Team Pakistan for the fighting games, bro. I am all about it. That is the best documentary on video games I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys I gotta find it and post it. Like, that's required reading almost. Oh my god. But, like I said, does this just mean Overwatch is never going to die? Because now they need it for government purposes? Does that mean they're getting subsidies?
I honestly don't even know, because I remember the last time the idea was bandied about, the Olympics wanted to make their own games.
I like that idea.
So this is definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on, because, like, this is I mean, like, yeah, I know there's corporate sponsors, but, like, the Olympics prides itself on, like, being its own thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is, they're going to be very careful about how they navigate this, and try to find a way forward where they're not just going, okay, we teamed up with this company and they're making money off of us now, you know, kind of deal. So you just have to wait and see, basically.
Yeah, I think the most logical thing is they're going to find some mass appeal competitive games and probably do a couple different genres. Like, or a different type of games, you know what I mean? I think that makes the most sense, especially with, like, you know, what was it, not E3, but there was the big fighting tournament that kind of did its last year, and then, like, CSGO kind of had its last run, like, for globals or whatever here lately. Like, I think there's definitely... I can't wait to see a CSGO Olympics, bro.
I'll say this: if there's somehow an Olympic sports for Sea of Thieves, I think it's time for us to dust off the old galley. You know?
Dude,
It's stupid as fuck.
I would love it.
It'd be hilariously stupid, but you know what?
These guys aren't
son of a
even big
bitch.
on the game. They're just that good of a team, and they just bomb people. I don't understand.
It's like you don't go for gold; you just go to steal gold.
Goes worldwide, baby.
Oh god! No.
At that point, I would get a tattoo. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man!
Have it on my back. You know, like a whole back piece. At that point,
Jesus.
have the freaking screaming owl over the freaking, like, the shield and everything. That'd be wild.
It would be.
No,
But that also mean you have to play shirtless just so that people see it.
I will say though, I think I can already foresee a future issue. The Olympic Committee is not going to like fighting game community pop-offs.
Oh, dude, hell no. They're just gonna have a fun time with the gaming community.
Yeah, the FGC is going to. Oh man, they are going to there's going to be a lot of stuff there if they decide to put fighting games in, because the fighting game community is probably the biggest gaming culture with its own, like, in terms of, like, well, I mean culture, just like, you know, its own terminology, traditions, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this goes beyond, like, Halo players teabagging people when they kill them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically hazing for 5-year-olds. Like,
Yeah, this is a subculture of gaming that has its own dictionary, and also is, you know, responsible for one of the biggest, you know, community gaming events every single year, EVO, which just wrapped up earlier this weekend with a genuinely insane third strike finish. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. Okay, so Kaio, who is this veteran player, won the losers bracket using the lowest placed character on the tier list in the game. I need to see if I can find a breakdown of it, but basically they used the low kick of it to they used the character's low kick, which is a drop kick, to go over a finisher, and like he had one bit of health. You need to go see the clip. It's genuinely insane. I don't know if my words can do it justice.
what's it called, real quick?
Hang on.
Evo?
Hold. Hang on. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. It's been titled Evo Moment 38. Here we go. I got the clip right here. From the official Evo Twitter, nonetheless. So to break it down here.
Oh,
Okay, my
God,
bad.
I just
The
seen
player
that's
was Hayao
nuts.
versus who's a Japanese player versus against Frankie BFG, who's an American player. So Hayao's playing with Hugo, who is one of the worst characters in Third Strike, against Ken. This is an
Yeah,
insanely
that was
bad
nuts.
matchup. Hayao
It
pulls
looks like
off a
some
super
shit.
hard series of inputs and uses a move no one expected to win. So to break it down, I'm following through here. Okay, Hugo is considered a mid-low tier in Third Strike. He can do tons of damage, he is slow, has problems at range, is one of the largest targets in the game. He fares even worse against people who can keep him out, like Ken, who Hayao is playing against. So Hayao is winning while at disadvantage. Frankie gets Hayao down to 1 health, 1 HP, or a magic pixel of health, meaning that if Hayao uses a block against any Ken special or super moves, Hayao dies, because in Third Strike, when you take reduced damage or chip damage on blocking moves. So he has only one defensive option, the parry. The problem is that the air parry is a 7-frame input, a 1/10 of a second window, where you press towards the opponent. If you miss the timing, you eat the attack. In this moment, it would have ended the round, and you can't mash them out. Hayao nails 4 of them in a row with staggered timing.
What the fuck?
The short hop that Hugo does, right as Ken launches his super, which gets him over Ken to dodge his attack and punish and win the match, Third Strike doesn't have short hops. That isn't a short hop. That's Hugo's standing heavy kick, which is one of his worst buttons. Standing heavy kick is slow, it leaves you vulnerable if it whiffs or is blocked, it can be beaten by almost any other button in the cast. It is a bad move, but it puts you in the air and recovers faster than a normal jump. If Hayao used a normal jump, Ken could block and punish, and that will be a game over. Hayao predicted that Frankie would wake up with super, used the standing heavy kick to dodge over him, and punished. You can't react with that move. It has to be done in advance. That is a genius level play, and the end of an exceptional comeback.
They were saying this guy mained Hugo for 25 years. That's nuts, too. Like, I don't know if that's true or not, but, like, if that is true, if I'm reading the YouTube comments right and the guy's right, Lord almighty. Could you imagine spending that long on the worst character of the game and then, like, turn around and win a fucking Evo on that shit? Being like, it wasn't my skill, bitch.
His
You know what I'm
pop-off is absolutely great, too. It's wonderful. I had a friend who traveled to EVO this last weekend, and he told me the atmosphere in the arena was absolutely nuts.
No, I'm watching this guy almost throw his chair. Going nuts. That is awesome. Well, shit. Like I said, maybe we can get some shit like that. Could you imagine, like, somebody doing that? And, like, I can't, like, the other thing that is just blowing my mind is, like, y'all remember when the Russians took hockey very seriously in the 80s?
Yes,
Like,
the
can you
Miracle
just-
on Ice. Yeah.
Could you just imagine what governments are just going to pour shit tons of money into video games now?
Oh, dude.
Just so they can
Yeah.
win the first video game, like, and they can stay on top, you know what I mean? Like, I can
Yeah.
only imagine
Yeah.
how many countries are going to do that. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be
It's
surreal.
definitely it's definitely an interesting thought, and I'm really curious how this is going to develop going forward. I do not envy all the old people on the Olympic Committee. They have quite the challenge ahead of them, both in terms of determining how to move forward with determining what's going to be at the Olympic esports Olympics, and also working with the cultures of all these different gaming demographics. So, yeah, it's fucking crazy.
It's
dude.
going to be funny.
Genuinely nuts.
I do not envy them herding that herd of cats around.
No.
So with that, I think that pretty much wraps us up for this episode, don't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Not too bad. You want me to go ahead and take it away?
Go ahead.
Take us away.
Alright, so if you like this episode of KoR Live, make sure to hit that like, comment, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. And if you like this kind of content, but you also like paranormal, cryptid type behavior, you can follow us on over to the KoR Live After Hours channel, where we've got plenty of that going on. And in the meantime, while we're uploading our archive of episodes over to this channel, you can also find our old episodes of KoR Live, the video game stuff, over there as well. So, with that, guys, we'd like to thank y'all for tuning in and listening to us. Y'all have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That yeah.